Kirstie Alley had a giant framed Sweeney Todd poster in her house. This is not what this episode of Big Life is about, but Sweeney Todd is my favourite film, so I got very excited by that. We only see the bottom of it just behind True and Jim's head, but for about 5 seconds I was ecstatically happy. To be fair, I was happy throughout the entire episode. This is, as seen on TV, the 10th episode of Kirstie Alley's Big Life, and there are two main aspects of this, and as always there will be spoilers as I talk about what happens and share some thoughts. So part of it focuses on the fact that Kirstie and Jim are kind of getting bored of the routines they've been doing, the fitness routines and the workouts, so they're trying to find some new things, and actually we get a little snapshot of a lot of different things. So if you are also trying to find new workout opportunities, there could be some interesting things in here. And I have to say the chin exerciser looked torturous, and some of them looked a little bit more fun than others, but I definitely appreciated that. And this is something that I've actually mentioned quite a few times when discussing this show, is that whenever we see them doing exercise, it's always something different. Obviously, that's great for them to keep things varied, but it means that if a viewer is watching this and they find it motivational, there's almost guaranteed to be at least one type of exercise that they connect with, one type that they want to try, or even a type that's accessible to them. So I absolutely love that. Jim then gets to try out a secret of Hollywood, and he gets a spray-on six-pack. When he was getting it sprayed on, it didn't look too bad. I'm not saying it looked good, but it didn't look bad. But once it dried, it was very, very funny. And they then work with a fitness trainer called Tony Horton, and we only see a little bit of their workouts, but it was still motivational. And I'm guessing, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing that as we head towards the end of the series, they're going to focus more on the weight loss aspect, since this is what the documentary's overarching theme is. And maybe we'll get some more fitness. I'd quite like to see that because it is very motivational. But what we got here was pretty good. We have the introduction of another new character. Character is probably not the right word there, but this is Nick, and he's actually interning for True Blue Productions. And immediately his job role sounds like it's similar to Kyle's, but actually Nick is interning on the creative side of things. He's reading a lot of the scripts that are sent in, basically helping Kirstie out with the creative aspect of her life. But Kyle instantly becomes worried that Nick is going to take his job because he's doing some of the same roles and he just seems to be better at it than Kyle, or at least he has a better attitude about it. And Kelly kind of suggests to Kyle that maybe he needs to watch out, and that has a really positive effect for Kelly and Kirstie, because Kyle then suddenly just starts to do everything and he becomes really proactive in his job. And then whenever he's doing that, we cut to Nick doing something. We see him helping Magdalena out with cooking, and Magdalena did not understand his humour at all. They have a rather lengthy conversation about pee, which makes sense when you watch it, but Magdalena was not entirely fully understanding him, which I thought was rather adorable, and it was definitely very entertaining, for me at least. We then see Kyle bringing flowers, and they're absolutely beautiful. He's really trying really hard. And then we have a moment that I feel was actually a little bit emotional, because I feel like, for the most part, this was, in my opinion, definitely encouraged. I feel like Nick and Kyle both knew, at least Nick knew why Kyle was being kind of negative towards him. I feel like this was definitely created or amplified for the purpose of the episode. I don't believe that a lot of Kyle's negative responses towards Nick were completely organic. However, I feel like when he asked Kirstie, am I going to lose my job? Either he's an amazing actor, which he might be, or that was actually a genuine concern. And in that moment, he seemed so vulnerable, and I really like how Kirstie handled the situation. And obviously, he's not losing his job. I don't know what he does now, of course, but it was definitely a bit of a wake-up call for Kyle, because he sees somebody else doing his job but better, and I feel like it gives him the motivation to realise that he can do his job better and he can be more proactive, and that can only be a good thing, not just for Kirstie and Kelly because he's doing things for them, but also for himself and his own self-satisfaction. So all's well that ends well in the Nick and Kyle saga that went back and forth quite a lot here. But Nick seems really likable as well. I don't know how heavily he features in the remaining 2 episodes. Only 2 episodes left, which is... it's heartbreaking. It's devastating. I've really thoroughly enjoyed this, but I'll get emotional about it when we get there. We still have 2 more episodes left, and for now, I'm very happy with As Seen on TV.